But I'm going to start with the first problem, the first challenge. The first reason that wounds don't heal is because of nutrition. You might think, well, I'm eating fine, my nutrition is fine. You may be overweight, you may be normal weight, but I'm not talking just any nutrition. I'm talking about two issues, your blood sugar and your protein intake. First of all, you have to take care of your blood sugar. If your blood sugar is too high, it can be a problem. And what's too high? Well, it's not just the 120 that you may have this morning, but it's a number called the hemoglobin A1C. Do you know what your A1C is? It should be around, you're right, number 7. It should be around 7. If it's 9, 10, 11, that's a serious problem, and that in and of itself can slow down your wound healing. So you have to constantly work at bringing your blood sugar down to heal it, to heal a foot wound. And the next thing is your nutrition. What is your albumin level? That's the level of nutrition, level of nutrition in your blood. It can be a blood test you can do, but the main focus for you is to eat enough protein. Eat enough protein so you can have those building cells to heal your foot wound. So the first thing, the first tip is to make sure your blood sugar is under control. The second tip is very, very important. Another reason that wounds don't heal is because of poor blood flow. And how do you know how your blood flow is? Well, there's 2 pulses on the foot. The top one is called the dorsalis pedis pulse. If you put your hand on the top of your foot, you can feel it. And the other one is behind the inside of your ankle. It's called the posterior tibial pulse. And by feeling those, if you put your hand on, you can feel them, that's great. But if you can't feel them, there may be a problem. If when you walk about a block or 2, you have to stop walking because of pain in the back of your calves, that's probably a problem with blood flow. And you should be evaluated by a circulation doctor or have an exam called an ankle brachial index. All that is very simply put. Have you ever had a blood pressure on your arm? You have. All the ankle brachial index is comparing the blood pressure to your arm to the blood pressure to your legs. You put 3 blood pressure cuffs on your legs, and that's going to show that evaluation. If it's bad, you have to see a circulation doctor. If it's good, it's probably going to be easier to heal your wound. Now there's a phrase that you probably heard on TV, on the internet as you're looking about this. Have you ever heard of PAD? Peripheral arterial disease. It's a problem of the clogging of the arteries. And simply put, the way I explain it to my patients is I say, if you have clogging in the artery going to your heart, what happens to you? A heart attack, right? If you have clogging in the arteries, the carotid arteries going to your head, to your brain, what's that called? It's called a stroke. And if you have clogging in the arteries going down to your legs, it's called PAD. And that's why it's such an important test to do. If you haven't had it, you need to talk to your doctor or your podiatrist about it. So the second reason that wounds don't heal is poor blood flow. And the third reason that wounds don't heal is because of something called a deeper infection or an infection. You can have an infection on your skin, you can have an infection deeper in the tissue, or even an infection in the bone. The technical term is called osteomyelitis. Osteo means bone. Myelitis is the infection or the inflammation in the bone. If you have a deeper bone infection, you're going to have a wound that's going to heal, and then it's going to open up again. It's going to heal and open up again. And it's very, very frustrating. So an X-ray or an MRI or a bone scan is going to be necessary to evaluate that. And I told you I was going to go over the fourth one. Now the fourth one is more important than everything else combined, and I want to stress that. The fourth reason that wounds don't heal, and the most important reason, is because of pressure. Now, what do you mean pressure on my wound? What do you mean? Well, let me explain. Have you ever got a paper cut on your finger? Do you use that finger if you have a paper cut? No, you baby it. How about if you had a big cut or surgery on your hand? Would that hurt if you bumped it? It would. Would you try not to use it? You wouldn't use it. Now, what happens if you had a big hole in your hand? Would you use your hand? No, you wouldn't. But you know what? If you have a foot wound, you probably have a hole in your foot, a wound in your foot, and you know what? Most of you are walking on it. Walking and you don't even feel the pain. Why? Because of the problem of neuropathy. It's a difficulty. And so if I can give one thing across to you today, it's to stay off your foot. Stay in bed, get a specialized shoe. There's a number of specialized shoes that you can wear. Now I know this may seem overwhelming to you, and I went over the big 4. You can do those, but you may want to learn more. For those of you that want to learn more, I'm offering you the 9 steps, the 9 keys that I found to wound healing, and I'm going to teach you that in that manual. I'd like you to put your name and your email next door in this little box, and you can learn more, and I'll be happy to send that out to you along with some other information. And just as a bonus for listening all the way to the end, I'm going to send you a special video. And this video is going to go over that thing called the comprehensive diabetic foot exam. I'm going to go in detail what you need to look at, what you should be looking for, and how to do the exam. So I really hope this was helpful, and I really hope that soon the wound will be closed on your foot.